everyone. I'm Grace Grogan. Paul Cannon and I live and travel full-time in a motorhome exploring Canada and the United States. We enjoy exploring off-road trails and unique places in the areas we visit. Travel with us as we explore a unique, historic mining town and its surrounding area. Jerome, Arizona is an historic mining town. In 1876, mining claims and a mill were located near the town, which was incorporated on March 8, 1899. The town is built on the site of Cleopatra Hill at an elevation of 5,066 feet. It was given its name because of a tent camp named Jerome after Eugene Jerome. Eugene was a major financer of the United Verde Company that purchased the mining claims in 1882. By the mid-1920s, the population of Jerome had grown to 15,000. The mine shut down in the 1950s, and by that time the population had dropped to 100, consisting mostly of widows with children who could not afford to leave. It was then that Jerome became known as a ghost town. During the 60s and 70s, Jerome became a haven for writers, artists, artisans, musicians, and historians. By 2018, Jerome had grown into a thriving tourist ghost town, and the population was up to 457 people. The entire town is a National Historic Landmark. If you like history, antique machinery, and scenic drives, you are going to enjoy our combination video and photo glimpse of this unique town, which went from being the fourth largest city in Arizona to the largest ghost town in America. There is a boarded-up building on this corner that we have not been able to identify. Based on its appearance, we speculate that it may have been either an apartment, a hotel, or a brothel. We are now approaching the Audrey Headframe Park. This is a must-see when you visit Jerome. The park houses the historic Audrey Shaft Headframe, the largest wooden headframe still standing in Arizona. The history of this little park can be credited to James S. Douglas, known as Rawhide. Rawhide dug for copper against the advice of geological experts and found an incredible deposit that gave him a 70% profit each year from 1912 until the Great Depression. The Audrey Headframe was built in 1918 by the United Verde Extension. Its purpose was to maximize the amount of high-grade ore that could be extracted, to reduce the risk of fire, which was a major concern due to the sulfur-rich ground, and to optimize worker safety. It was considered state-of-the-art and was the largest facility of its kind. The head frame consists of a wood structure supporting 3 sets of pulleys over which cables run to hoist the cable cages. The shaft was made up of 3 independent concrete-lined segments with 7 horizontal hubs starting at the 800-foot depth. Each tunnel was 100 feet long and connected to the Edith shaft. A sign was posted showing the shaft's depth in comparison to the height of the Eiffel Tower, Empire State Building, and other landmarks. We were able to stand inside the shaft above the center segment of the main mine shaft. Beneath our feet was a void of approximately 1,900 feet. The natural water level is at 1,300 feet, and pumps were required to make levels below that available for mining. The Edith shaft headframe was completed in 1915 to haul men and supplies down into the mine. The wooden structure was torn down in 1981 and it was replaced with the steel structure you see today. The men would be lowered down into the mine and then walk 100 feet through the tunnels from the Edith shaft to the mine area. There was a third shaft called the Daisy shaft nearby on a hill that served as the main air intake for the mine. This jack drill was used for underground mining only. The drill was set on the floor of the tunnel and screwed tightly into the rock ceiling, which would lock it in place. The hand crank at the top operated the drill forward and in reverse. This shift change whistle was loud and could be heard clearly by all 15,000 people in Jerome. It operated by air being forced up the pipe, which would then hit the brass dome on the top before being forced back down, which created the penetrating sound of the whistle. I was unable to locate any information specifically related to this diamond drill model 473, which was manufactured by the E.J. Longyear Manufacturing Company in Marquette, Michigan. Here we have an antique wheelbarrow and two rail cars. The Jenny, also referred to as an ore car, was designed to maximize the hopper's space. The flatbed car you see was used for hauling wood down into the mines to build support beams. In 1976, the Childs Irving Hydroelectric Project was designated a National Historic Mechanical Engineering Landmark, and it operated from 1909 to 2004. The powerhouse included a single turbine, shown here, and a generator, seen here. From this scenic overlook point, you can see the town of Jerome on the right. On the other side of the overlook is a beautiful view of the valley. Look to the left. You can see a spot where open pit mining was done. Going up this road made me nervous. There was a sign when we started that it is not recommended for passenger vehicles. It is narrow with huge drop-offs and no railing. To the left, you can see a strip mining road used by mining trucks to haul ore down from the mine, and yes, that is snow on the side of the mountain. is snow on the road and some icy patches. We are passing a sign that says, "One-lane road," like we wouldn't have noticed. Here you can see the beautiful red rock of the mountain. The red color is the result of a thin layer of iron oxide in the rock, and the chemical weathering of the minerals turns the rock red. The ice patches on the road, combined with the steep drop-offs, were giving me a stress headache. We have reached a cattle guard crossing and turn around at this point. The cattle guard, also called a cattle grid, is placed over a depression of 12 to 18 inches deep to prevent livestock from crossing an enclosed piece of land. The guard is normally 7 to 8 feet wide and at least 8 feet long. This prevents cattle from simply stepping over the guard. The advantage of a cattle guard is it allows vehicles to drive over it without having to deal with opening and shutting gates. Driving in the reverse direction provides a different vantage point and discovery of things not noticed from the other direction. What I didn't mention earlier is that the road looks out over the Prescott National Forest. As we were driving back, I noticed this aloe vera plant and prickly pear cactus growing on rocks. The aloe vera is semi-tropical and thrives well in desert conditions and sandy, rocky soil that drains and dries out quickly. The prickly pear is a cactus from which both the pads and the fruit can be eaten. Looking down, you can see two man-made water reservoirs, one black, one blue. We could not locate any information on the purpose of those water pits. On the right, you can see the Gold King Mine, which has become a popular tourist spot with vintage vehicles and history. We took some overview pictures coming down the mountain of this interesting place only 1 mile north of Jerome. As the sign says, is there life after death? Trespass and you'll find out. The mine began in 1890 when 1,270-foot mine shaft was dug and they struck gold. The location became the Haynes Mining Camp in 1901 with a population of 304. They had their own post office from 1908 to 1922. In 1981, 91 years after the gold ran out, Terry and Don Robertson purchased the property. It is now a tourist stop containing more than 180 vintage vehicles, mining equipment, and historic buildings. Unfortunately, we did not have time to explore the day we were there, but plan to come back and visit another time. As we drive the town of Jerome, notice how many of the buildings require stairs to gain access, and the streets are built at different levels. Ahead on top of the hill is the Grand Hotel. That is Jerome's only full-service hotel. The building was once the United Verde Hospital and still uses the original 1926 Otis elevator and the 1926 Kewanee boiler to provide steam heat. really high staircase on the right to access a home. We took the road that heads toward the town of Prescott to a scenic overlook for a few pictures. This view shows the road along the side of the mountain we just drove on to reach this overlook. The beautiful rock formations could easily be viewed. There was some piping system on the side of the mountain. You can see supports holding something up, which we assume was for water or air needed in mining operations. Here you get another look at the beautiful red rock. This is a good spot to see how Jerome is built on multi-levels in the side of Cleopatra Hill. There is one road going up on the left, the road we are driving on, and another can be seen below on the right. You drive a series of switchbacks as you go through town. As we were driving by the parking area on the right, I spotted an interesting door on one end and had Paul pull in so I could grab a picture. It is an interesting door and I could not find any information as to its purpose. Perhaps an entry to a home or a brothel room? We discovered this wonderful small park filled with antique mining equipment. The two locomotives are over 100 years old and had been left in a mine when it closed in 1908. The locomotives are 250-volt DC trolley-powered mine locomotives with a top speed of 8 miles an hour. The first locomotive was purchased between 1905 and 1908, and the miners then used that one as a sample to build a second locomotive. We do not know which locomotive is purchased and which is built by the miners. We believe the pipe sticking up at the top of one was the electrical connector used for operation. This is a close-up of the speed control for the step motor. Note that there are 8 steps on the motor, one for each level of speed on the 8-mile-per-hour locomotive. There is a crank at the top that was used to rotate up or down for speed. This is a fuse for the locomotive. The white is insulators. The electrical connection is between the posts. There is no fuse visible. This is a winch for a dragline bucket and the pulley for the drag winch with the steel cable still in it. This system was used to move the bucket as needed for various operations. This is an ore car, also called a jenny. When loaded, the handle was used to tip and empty the car after it had been towed out by a locomotive. This is a Model 12B rocker shovel introduced in 1938. It is the first piece of equipment that was successful in replacing human labor from removing rubble from underground blasting. When the bucket was loaded, the operator would activate the motor and the arms would roll the bucket up toward the rear of the machine. When the rocker arms hit shock-absorbing stops on the frame, the contents were thrown into an attached mining cart. In looking at this rocker shovel closer, you should note that what appears to be a modern white hose is actually the original hose bleached out from sitting in the sun. Also notice the railroad nail that was welded onto the shovel by miners to use as a handle and lever to operate the shovel. Before leaving the park, we looked over the bank to snap a few photos. We have no idea what this old building is, but it looks like at some point the roof flew off and landed safely nearby. Here is a better look at an open pit mine. Open pit mining is a surface mining technique of extracting rocks or minerals from the earth by their removal from an open pit or barrow. It is used when mineral or ore deposits are relatively close to the earth's surface and is much safer than using the shaft mining method. There is an old gas station on the right. Based on its size, we speculate it may have been a combination grocery store and gas station. Thank you for joining us on our glimpse of what was once the wickedest town in the West and is now the largest ghost town in America. We hope to get back and explore Jerome more thoroughly in the future. Thank you from Paul and I for watching. We hope you enjoyed the ride. Give us a big thumbs up and leave us your comments below. Click on that free subscribe button so you get notified each time we release a new video. Until the next time, Paul and I will continue rolling through North America, so travel with us.